So it's coming. We need to have fairly cool agenda, but certainly in terms of the volume pages, it's provided that time read. The item sounds like on the agenda is the minutes of our meeting that we held on the 6th of November. Is it your wish last time though? It's the true credit. Great. Second item, apologies for absence. I have not received any apologies unless it tells me while I'm looking around, everything's here. It's excellent. Item 3, declarations of members addressed. Steve.
I just wanted to declare, because we were talking tonight about the business space, obviously it is people are heavy, it's very bits and pieces, but it's not a financial interest to talk about ourselves personally. One, so it's probably worth noticing banking, but it's not, no fact that,
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah.
That's fine.
So I've got a problem, so most of my work right now is just a yes or no.
You like sharing it as well?
Item 4, this is the other declaration of interest. Item 4, questions by members of the public. We've not received any. There are urgent items of business. We've not had any requests to address the meeting, which takes us straight into the cost of business plate, which is my name as government member. I'm not going to say too much about this, other than to thank everyone that's been involved in the work and to draw attention to the appendix, which demonstrates a number of good forms of good groups and bodies that are doing such wonderful work and supporting the London and community. Well, the list of 17 organisations that have benefited some form out with spaces. I mean, it's very clear that that's something that's going to be needed. So many people are struggling with their fuel bills and other demands on their finances. Monies that have gone to schools, monies that have gone to food resilience, food bank by other organisations, and the advice and digital solution. Because that's the to be linked electronically is becoming almost essential these days. And we've not had that actually because people have heard of this advantage who are already suffering in their ways. So some excellent work to be going on. Thanks to officers, thanks to Alan and others, who I know keep those emotional initiatives to the council, and has done a lot of work certainly on water spaces and other things. Does anybody want to speak to that, Alan?
Just to reinforce what you said, Chair, obviously a lot of work going on. The cost of living working group, which involves professionals and councillors working together, has focused in on a number of key areas, in addition to, as you say, the work that we've been able to do around the grants for different organisations. There's a lot of work being put into looking at ways in which we can identify more clearly those groups of people who are most in difficulty in the cost of living crisis and try to get help to those groups, and a focus on benefits and on those people who are entitled to benefits and at the moment are not claiming them for whatever reason. And there's some really good work gone on around that, particularly busy occasion in this very room where we had over 220 pensioners coming along and getting help and support. So a lot going on, a lot of work still to go on, but yes, I'm pleased at what we've been able to do. Thank you.
Unless there are any other comments for us to note progress of legislative support for instance through the cost of living crisis. Steve.
Thank you, David. I just wanted to comment, even with this goal, how great it is, as you said, by everyone, it's disappointing perhaps that the opposition aren't here based on their latest listings to full council bits and pieces, particularly with regards to school using the survey, yet we see that 7 schools who apparently aren't under our control, according to the opposition, was in funding from their cost of living grant. So it's quite disappointing that perhaps the opposition have got other things to do tonight. But I just think if we look at the range of groups, you know, I think we hit every ward, I think we hit every part of the town, and I think we hit the most vulnerable, which was what our key intention was, and to try and spread that as far and wide as we can. So just to again thank members who have worked so hard on this, and thank officers as well for their time and dedication in putting this together, because it's something we did very quickly, but with the right priorities and the right key prudence in terms of handing out funding and so share the opposition aren't here to share the success perhaps, but a great result for us.
To recommendation, 3 recommendations, and the corporate performance portion 2. There's 2 parts of it. I was Colin was saying about key performance indicators first of all.
Oh, yeah. Otherwise, we're going to be up here by 10 past. Right, here we go. Just want to run through a few of these. Percentage of business rates collected during the year, that's number 2 on page 2. The collection rate has exceeded target by 3.21%, which is, by anybody's standards, that's a very good result. Down at the bottom of the page, 8 and 9. Number of new sign-ups to the council social media channels is very high, and very pleased to see that, because in the long run that will save us lots of money. What surprised me, it's only over the page, town centre vacant retail spaces says 19 new businesses opened in the last quarter, 5 in the Beacon, 3 in the Enterprise Centre, and as well as other locations in the town centre. So that's a really good effort, isn't it? I wonder if people were flocking to come here, and I think it's a wonderful place. Just a quick word about HMOs, because we've had a bit of a struggle with HMOs over the last, inspecting HMOs over the last couple of years. But we've actually now got full-time officer and 2 agency staff for 6 months. And not unsurprisingly, that's now turning itself around, and that's going in the right direction. Okay. That's all I want to say.
Thank you, Colin. I'm glad you drew attention to the new businesses that started up, because that's very different, certainly other towns. To the other shops, business flourishes. And so we're the case we've done in the past. Any questions, Colin, on the see any statement and then financial element?
I don't know, there's a bit to the same on vote.
That's probably nice.
Thank you very much indeed. Councillor Todd. So this is the continuation of on what is reported previously, and it makes reference to the budget being one of the things which we set the budget and the inflationary indicators at that point, and how the inflation has really go through this in. Added to that is that the interest rate of cost borrowing has also gone. So we are working against the budget that was set during the much more favorable times, and now actually operating within an environment where everything is far more expensive, challenging, and so is the demand for our services. So the quarter 2 performance is indicative that we are now starting to see the impacts of inflation, impact of the increasing demand for our services, including and housing need as a whole. And those are sort of key drivers for increasing the bottom line in terms of pressure by about £1 million. We have carried out a comprehensive review of the budget and inward expenditure, and we are we have managed to reduce the gap through a number of adjustments, corrections to the budget, but we are still left with over £1 million shortfall, which we have to address as part of the council's position. In terms of key drivers of the increase in the expenditure, of course, since one has had the approval of the payables, and also a big driver is the increase in terms of delivery of the housing needs services. The report goes on to provide with information on other drivers, such as the impact of the economic downturn on our rental income, and also goes on to provide information on tourism activity, which actually has improved since Q1. Also providing information is in relation to the council's affection fund. The two different heads. One in terms of council tax that we can see a very positive outturn in terms of increasing our collection. Again, thanks to William's team, where they are focusing on collecting income. Different picture for business rate, and that is precisely in relation to product management, but also the way that the business rate is now currently completely around the funding of the business rate. All in all, it is difficult, it is challenging, but we do have a plan of action to make sure that we mitigate and manage the shortfall at the end of this financial year.
Thank you, various. We've several top match governments that really predicted policies, social grants, and the financial situation is challenging, but it's challenging just about everyone, individuals, businesses, local authorities, charities. Others are called today the dealer, and they were asking authorities to consider Section 114 notices to approach sooner rather than later. And there are clearly a number of authorities that will be doing so. And we know that there are a number of authorities already that are in that position. So thank you, thank your team for and all of their officers for everything they do to try and bring the budget in reasonable bounds and right terms. We will deliver a budget that will meet the expenditure will meet budget we set in the terms last year. The bigger challenge going forward for the next 2 years at least, and maybe beyond. We await the session. We're told that that's going to be around about Monday, Tuesday next week. We've had sort of some of the headline news. We've been told that that we will get will be given 3% before we make a decision on council tax. Given inflation in double figures, that's not going to go very well. So we'll always be decisions ahead. And my thanks to Tim's team for the performance, particularly on council tax in the current economic climate. That's incredible. So this was a better thanks back to. Any questions for there? Are we happy to agree the resolution for us? Thank you. And we move to item 9, which is local council tax reduction scheme. Alan, so if you want to, it's the same proposal really from last year, isn't it? I don't know if you want to say much by way of introduction.
The only thing I want to say is, firstly, to thank the officer team for putting all this together again. I'm sure everybody's read through all those pages. I, spent several evenings going through and picking out the salient points. And to thank the scrutiny committee for their observations. Obviously, a lot of work has gone on within the department, looking at a range of other schemes that do go on, and we will always keep in our minds what other options there are out there. So I wouldn't rule that out at some point. We probably have a closer look at the banded schemes that Rother and Wheelden are operating, or starting to operate. But in terms of Eastbourne, we did a lot of work, and the current scheme we're operating is the best one for Eastbourne for all sorts of reasons. Certainly from an administrative point of view, from a financial point of view. So I'm more than happy to endorse the recommendations as they were, but also to note the fact that we will continue to keep other schemes, to look at other schemes. It's probably worth mentioning that Eastbourne Borough Council are leading on a lot of the work to do with benefit help, looking at new software to, as I mentioned earlier on, to help the challenge of trying to get benefit to those people who are entitled to it. And I know other authorities are looking at what we're doing in Eastbourne. So we will share any learning we get from that. In the same way, I'm sure that the other authorities will share learning with us and with the county council from other schemes. But for the present, the scheme that we are recommending again, I think is the best one for Eastbourne at this time, and I commend it to you.
Questions, Sharon? Thank you for drawing our attention to the paperwork element. I'm tempted to ask to give further explanations. Page 142, paragraph 72.6. We could just explain the same. I'm sorry. This one. Okay. We might be here for a while.
I'll pick it up.
No. Are we happy with the recommendations?
Agreed.
We then move to item 10, which is the council tax. This is rate base 23/24. The members will be aware that the student committee asked the Cabinet to consider a review of the scope of the council tax base, including parameters for exemptions and discounts that currently apply to police force and related schemes adopted by other authorities. That is actually something we do anyway, so I think that's just part and parcel of that normal process. Let's see, do you want to say an introduction?
Yeah, obviously, council tax and business rates are incredibly important to these authorities. One of our main, if not our main, income for collective funded general fund. So this is an incredibly important piece of work, and on that note, I'm going to hand once again over to Linda.
Yes, we are, there is a statutory requirement for us reducing council tax base for business rate and council tax, and support is more of a mechanical technical paper, which is very neatly summarised on page 196. It's one of the report in terms of the starting position in terms of as per valuation list this year, allowing for various mandatory and discretionary discounts, and also the implementation of the council tax scheme and policy. We can see that it's actually a very positive tax base, even after allowing for various discounts. And again, there's an overlap with this report and the Q2 report in terms of the collection rate. We've been able to increase the collection rate by about 7%, and that again has helped to increase the tax base. Tax base has increased by more than 1.5%, which is far more than in recent years, allowing us to generate more tax.
No, it's a positive story, and the recommendations certainly speak for themselves. Unless anybody wishes to ask any questions, we agree those recommendations. We move to item 11. Eastbourne's carbon neutral 2030, which is the target we set ourselves. Very much support on that, but with some positive findings.
I think Ian wants to say something once.
Always.
Thank you. Obviously, the report has a range of information relating to progress. So, presented some very good progress in relation to both the onerous reduction of 15% and also the Eastbourne area. And one thing I'll say before Colin comes in to talk about the rest of the report is that I'm pleased to say that Kate Richardson has had a baby. She's currently off. I can say it was on time, and one of her colleagues did say maybe on budget as well. So
Please pass joint congratulations. That's very good. It goes wonderful work for us. So pass on thanks for that as well. This report.
I'm really surprised that she only left last week.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's not, is it? Anyway, she was doing a great job for us as well. With regards to the report, yeah, it's a good report. We've had quite a decent year, really. It was a difficult year because we got the tail end of COVID and we had a change of leadership partway through the year. And just want to mention Jonathan Dow, the amount of work and effort that he put into it, trying to when he had to step down for personal reasons. But since then, yeah, it's been picking up. We go through lots of these things. We go through lots of these things.
No, I just draw up on two highlights.
Okay. One highlight. The Sustainable Business Summit that we had about two or 3 weeks ago you were there, David, and it was a great event for everybody. And the most important thing I think about that, it was aimed at business people, but what tends to happen is when you hold any kind of event related to carbon neutrality and climate change, you tend to get the same people there all the time, which is wonderful, and it's nice to see them all. But actually, on this occasion, we were able to attract a slightly different audience, and perhaps one that we need to get to. So anyway, that's all I would. Yeah, that's what I really want to say in it. Thank you.
Like you mentioned something, I thought that was a really and demonstrated that Eastbourne is joining together across pressure groups, local authority, charitable organisations and business organisations to try and achieve that aim of carbon neutrality by 2030. The progress that's been made by the council suggests to me that we will be able to do that as a council. But if we're to deliver that as a town, that collective group that I mentioned needs to continue to do things that galvanise our residents and our communities to make sure that Eastbourne is at the forefront of carbon neutrality. I can speak for ages on this, and I did at the summit, so I'm not going to repeat that now. Or everybody just say anything further? Good. Let's like that. Let's agree that. Sorry.
Sorry, David, I just wanted to note that many of us, you may have had the opportunity to visit the E-Hive, which was down at the Beacon, and I believe that closed just yesterday. But I just wanted to pay tribute to the volunteers who had staffed that and made the environment such an important part of the town centre and sort of help to educate members of the public, as well as the Fleet Council officers, knowing that our environmental waste team were there, for example, to give talks, and it's on a packed schedule. So I just wanted to congratulate them and thank them for that useful advice that they gave to members of the public.
And Dean, I'm sure we'll want to be associated with those comments too. And also thank the Beacon for the commitment they're given to making that space available. Because that's right in the centre of town. A lot of attention. We're happy with the recommendations, and so we move to the final item on the agenda, which is the planning and local evaluation. And please feel free to read as you see fit.
First of all, I'm going to say, you will all have noticed that the page number was wrong. It was 237, 247. And that's my contribution to this event. And now I'm going to hand over to Lee Palmer. Thank you, Lee.
Thank you, Councillor. Thank you, Chair. I'll keep this brief. The paper invites Cabinet to authorise the application and use of an updated local validation list. The local validation list, as members will be aware, is where the planning department negotiates the requirements of applications at validation stage. This is a comprehensive review that will tighten the belt in terms of what we require in the validation stage, which will better inform planning decisions, better inform the information before planning committee, and Chair, I commend this to Cabinet. Thank you.
Thank you, Lee. Other questions, Lee? Done silence. Thank you very much, Lee. I'm sure we'll have the to endorse that.
Indeed, so.
That brings us to the end of that business. So thanks all very much for your time. Let's see. Well,